who's the biggest snub for the Hockey Hall of Fame right now? Our daily poll questions brought to you by Key Auto Group. At the Key Auto Group, you can buy with confidence knowing that they provide reports on all vehicles they sell. Get fully informed with your next vehicle by going to keyautogroup.ca. And your options are Alex McGillney, Theron Fleury, Jeremy Roenick, or other. And the last I looked on the Twitter vote, McGillney and Fleury were a dead-on tie. And I don't know what it is. I'm not going to ask you right now, Clark, what the vote is because it's so early. We just put it up. For me, it's obvious. For me, it's Theron. Stanley Cup, Olympic gold, World Junior gold, 1,000 points, 1,000 games. If you were to fill out a form or look up Hall of Fame bio in the dictionary, that would be it. But Theo's not in, and I'm not going to hand the show over to that. We've talked about it enough here. I would be interested to know who the other might be for people. But who are you voting for the biggest snub for the Hockey Hall of Fame?
I'm going to vote Alexander McGillney, and I think that's where most of the talk has been across social media and around the biggest snub. I think that would be a fairly unanimous choice. The reason I'm voting for him and not for Theo is because, as you said, we've been down this road before, and we've been banging on this drum and banging on this, that he should be in. We know he's got a Hall of Fame career on paper. If you took the face and the name off the resume and you compared it, you'd say this is a Hall of Famer, no doubt.
It's time to play CFL Deal or No Deal for our official betting partner, Bet Regal. Montreal at Hamilton, Friday night. The Ticats are favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
Deal. No Bo, no problem, Hamilton.
Toronto at Edmonton on Sunday. The Argos favored by 6.5 at the lowly Elks. Deal or no deal?
You got a deal there for me.
Hi, everybody. It's me, the champ. We're coming at you live on a Football Friday. Ace Casino Airport, Calgary, and Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport. I hope you're ready for a fantastic weekend. I hope you're ready for a lot of fun over the next 2 hours. Darren Moose DuPont is with me. I'm in the West. He's in the East. He's in Toronto. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE radio, podcast, and streaming. And I want to say something, Moose. We're booming here live into the casino airport. And here tonight, I'll say it, I'm going to hear it. They're going to hear it many times. 6 p.m. tonight, right here. We're going to have a CFL fan reception. And then move it on over to the Sky Lounge rooftop bar over here at Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport. I was there yesterday with Jamie and the owner, Stuart, and all the gang, and they were having a big time. So we're ready for the weekend. I just want to tell you something. This earpiece right here is booming into my right ear. And I've realized lately that I think I'm losing significant hearing in my right ear. And you know what? I don't mind. It gets you out of so much stuff. I get it now. My dad, you're talking to him, not even paying attention. You can completely ignore whatever you want. You know, that's what I'm finding. I don't know. It's not totally gone. So I'm not saying it's something that you would want that, but I'm like, I can get out of a lot of stuff here because of this booming earpiece. I'm afraid to switch it over to my left because I don't want it going in both ears.
Oh, my gosh. I know. And that's incredible because then it's like, sorry, I didn't hear you. You know, when they come around to the other side.
I didn't.
You're watching the game.
I'm at that point.
You're doing your own thing. You don't got to worry about the nattering in your ear. That'd be a dream.
Yeah, I'm almost at a point of thinking about going and getting a hearing aid. At some point, I'm going to have to. But for the time being, it's just that looking at them going, should I ask them to ask again or just ignore that they said it all together? I'm just going to ignore that they said it all together and just move on. That day, my dad had it figured out, I'm telling you. Coming up on the program today, Jermain Franklin from TSN. Formerly TSN Calgary, now Sportsnet anchor out of Toronto, and Sheldon Napastuk. They're all very excited here at Ace Casino Airport because Sheldon is a alumni of both the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Calgary Stampeders. And those two teams are meeting here tomorrow night. And we're going to kick off the weekend in fine style here this evening. So can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? And we'll get down to business. Thank you. Well, I'm going to tell you, I didn't even have it in my quick six show topics, but we're going to get to it here. Not right now, but we will, because it's a Football Friday. Eventually, we'll get to the NHL Board of Governors. Yesterday, I don't know what the vote was, but you saw that they voted in favor of scrapping themed jerseys for warm-ups next season. And I saw the interview this morning on Sportsnet Central. Elliot Friedman with Gary Bettman, and Gary goes, I brought the idea forward to get rid of it and it become a distraction. And I have thoughts on the NHL doing that, and my thoughts, believe it or not, have angered some people, Darren. So we'll get to that. And one more. You did not go into the men's washroom here in the high-limit tables, like the VIP area here of Ace Casino Airport, but it's all gold-plated. And it reminds me of the Trump Plaza in Vegas. And I'm just looking to see if Kevin the Medium, who's sitting over here, gets triggered. Yeah, he did. He did. If you're triggered about Pride jerseys or the NHL not wearing Pride jerseys, or if you're like Kevin the Medium or a lot of my friends who will remain nameless today, the second you bring up Trump, Trump! Why is that triggering you? Does he remind you of your narcissistic uncle? You know, he's say what? If you're mouthing something to me, I can't hear you. I've lost hearing in my ear. So, anyways,
this is one of those moments where you can pretend you don't hear them.
I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know. What is it? What is it about this guy that gets people so triggered? I don't get it. Anyways, where was I? Point. Can you hit the horn again, Jordan? Just for fun. See if everybody's awake. Whoever hits that horn. Are they awake back there? Yeah. Number one, we're going to open with the Canadian Football League. And the BC Lions accomplished a rare feat with a dominant 30-6 victory over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on Thursday night. The last time a CFL West Division team won there was the September 2018 Banjo Bowl by Sask. So the Lions are 3-0 for the first time since 1995. BC quarterback Vernon Adams Jr. threw for 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. This was a pillar-to-post ass-kicking on Thursday Night Football, BC over Winnipeg. We all watched the game, or you might not if you were watching the NBA draft, but I was watching it, so leave it to me. I'm sitting there all game saying, yep, Winnipeg's going to come back. They're too good. Yep, Winnipeg's going to come back. Zach's still Zach. No, BC wasn't having it. They cleaned their clock from neck to navel, from opening kickoff to the final gun. In a way, I think it's karma. Winnipeg was trashing Regina Pizza, you know, after they cleaned the Riders' clocks last weekend, 45-27, Darren. And no, listen to me. That's in my commentary today. I think this is karma for Winnipeg doing that. You can run down the Rough Riders. I don't care. You run down Regina or Saskatchewan or the pizza industry in that sacred place, we're going to have a problem. Winnipeg's getting their karma. And, yeah, I don't believe they're the best team in the CFL anymore. Do you have any thoughts on the Week 3 lid lifter in the Canadian Football League?
It was a great football game. And I think there was a moment in the second quarter which really stood out to me. BC and Vernon Adams Jr., I mean, Vernon Adams had a great game. I thought he really looked poised in the pocket, in command of that offense against a really tough team in Winnipeg. But if you remember, I think it was the second quarter, when the Bombers were in their own 5-yard line or within their own 5-yard line, and Zach Caleros was in the end zone, and he threw that 47-yard pass down the right sidelines to the big receiver, caught it, and they were in business. They were moving down the field, but the BC defense held them to a field goal in that spot. That made it, I think at the time, 10-6 instead of 10-10. And BC didn't look back after that. Didn't allow a single point the rest of the way. They looked great. And I thought that was the moment for me when they bent but didn't break. And BC made a statement last night that maybe they need to be considered in the conversation for the top team in the Canadian Football League.
Well, right on cue. That is our poll question today for our friends at Key Auto Group. Key Auto Group, driven by safety, experience peace of mind with our comprehensive multi-point inspections. Visit keyautogroup.ca for automotive excellence. The poll question today is, who is the best team in the Canadian Football League? The BC Lions, the Toronto Argonauts, who have not yet lost, or the Winnipeg Blue Bombers? And BC is leading with 58% of the vote. There might be a little recency bias here, but who's the wrestler that says if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man? Ric Flair? BC went in and beat the man. Yeah, BC went in and beat the man. So for now, the BC Lions are the top team in the Canadian Football League, and you have 24 hours to vote on that. Kevin, the medium, will be dropping by a little later on to give his thoughts on the Smurf Mafia losing last night. But people were... When I talk about angering people, and I appreciate, I mean, it is a gift of mine, angering people. I don't know, it's God-given. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in and says, Rod's comments anger people? I don't believe it. I don't get it either, man. But some guy, I said, this is karma for their pizza comments, and some guy wrote in, I'm guessing from Winnipeg, Joe. It's an anonymous guy, so he got a lot of balls already. And he says, so... this is karma. They trash Regina Pizza, and then another team beats them, so you feel better? Oh, okay, I get it. Dude, you don't get how karma works. Speaking of combat sport, they come out of Sask like Conor McGregor, crapping all over everybody. And the next week, they got their tail between their legs, and they got kicked in the pills, and they were embarrassed on national television. So maybe you should familiarize yourself with karma, dude, because Winnipeg got it. Okay, I got to stay out of the comment section for now and stay on track. Folks, at the Hotel Clique Calgary Airport, we do weddings, a wealth of event and banquet space and all-inclusive packages starting at just $79.95 per person. Inquire at hotelclique.ca. Point two, the San Antonio Spurs are looking to end their 4-year playoff drought with the addition of Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs selected the French phenom with the top pick in Thursday's NBA draft. Frankly, I was unaware the Spurs have missed the playoffs for the last 4 years. So it was the AT&T Center that I attended. That night that Snoop Dogg and I went to the game, it was in San Antonio.
I remember.
I did the loser laps. Around the concourse, and I saw the shrine to the 5 Spurs championships, and I'm like, wow, that's dominance, man. I guess I didn't realize they haven't made the playoffs since. But this is the third time in San Antonio's 51-year history that they held the number 1 pick. The last 2 times they had it, the Admiral, David Robinson in '87 was selected, and Tim Duncan in 1997. So I don't follow it. Okay, I watch the games, but that's about where it ends. And with the 13th pick in the NBA draft, the Toronto Raptors selected guard Grady Dick, the 19-year-old from Wichita, Kansas, wore a sparkly and bedazzled red coat, saying it was his nod to Dorothy from the classic movie Wizard of Oz. How do we feel about that?
I'm not sure. You know what? The kid's got some style. He wants to show, and you know what? That's not a bad thing. He's not shy, no. So I think that's a good thing. He'll want to get in there and compete and make his name known right away. So you know what? I've seen the memes on social media. I've seen the comments on Twitter. Oh, they took the guy with the flashy coat, Oh, they took the guy that's got the funny last name, Can the kid play basketball or not? And if he can play basketball, I think we'll be pretty happy.
Yeah. Just ball, dude. You do you. That's kind of where we're at now, right? And that might be a decent dovetail into the next point. Honestly, I've got point 3, Flames. Is there a way out? But I'm like, you know what? In this town, you have to understand something. If you weren't watching yesterday, I said, folks, tell me what you'd like us to talk about on the show. And what the vast, vast majority of people said, don't change a thing. Breaking news, maybe, but just talk about what you want to talk about. So I don't really want to talk about the Calgary Flames because everybody else in this town is talking about the Calgary Flames. And maybe we'll push that to next week because it is a Football Friday. They think, what's the point of even icing a team this year? All the stars want out. It's a rebuild. Why would we follow it? And I'm like, I went over to Grey Eagle yesterday, where we were for 26 weeks last year in this, to visit some friends over there. So I still have a lot of friends. And I don't want to say which guy, but one of the guys at the front, he's like, oh, my God, my daughter, she can't sleep. I'm upset. We had to calm her down to get her to go to school. What's wrong with the Flames, Dad? And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that here today. So I'm going to switch topics. Don't let the Calgary Flames ruin your weekend or your life, okay? Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. So we'll spend the 3 minutes here on the NHL Board of Governors voting to discontinue the themed jerseys. If you notice, they didn't say pride-themed jerseys. Any themed jerseys, they will end. And it triggered rage from a lot of people. And I'm not even going to dignify the people that are writing into our website, rodpeterson.com. They're like, Rod, you're the only person that agrees with the NHL for this decision on Thursday. And I'm like, I don't care to go out on a limb on my own. Not only did I go out there, I live out there on my own. How many times do I have to say, I'm inclusive, I'm pro-LGBTQ. I don't agree with John Chick and the people that are anti that, but I also don't sit and rant and rage on Facebook and Twitter with people about it. I said this year when all this rage and blowback came and the players wouldn't wear the jerseys and put the tape on their sticks. What did I say, Darren? I bet you the NHL's sitting there going, why did we do this? They had the right intention, but they've walked it back now. And Gary Bettman himself said in that interview with Elliot Friedman, I put it forth, continue this, it's become a distraction. So this isn't capitulating to the left or the right or the pro-gay or the anti-gay. It's just, can we just go play hockey? Which is what they should have done in the first place. So I agree with him. So if people think this is a chicken move by the NHL, you're free to feel however you want. I'm just saying the NHL painted themselves into a tight corner, and they said, we're going to get out of that corner. We'll let the paint dry, and then we'll walk out of that corner. We shouldn't have done this in the first place. That's my read. You?
Yeah, I take a little bit of, which is good in this conversation and for the show. I mean, it feels like when you first hear the announcement, it feels like a step backwards. You know, you're trying to make progress and inclusivity and bring that into the game, and it feels like a step backwards. But what I would say, too, is to caution overreacting too early. Because let's see what this actually means. You know, there's a lot of money that goes to charity from these nights, whether it's the LGBTQ Pride nights, the military nights, the Indigenous nights. There's money for charity. I think if that's something that goes away because of this, we got a bigger problem, right? I think these teams are still going to find ways to have theme nights, even if it doesn't mean the players are wearing jerseys. So I would say I would caution overreacting and see what it actually looks like next season. But on paper, it's a little bit like we're going to go out on a vacation and we find out it's storming and we decide to turn around and go back. You know, the first sign of anybody opposing what we're doing or the first sign of any, controversy, we're just going to turn around and pack this up and let's just go back
you couldn't be more wrong. Number one, who said they're not going to contribute to any charities?
No, but that's my point.
To walk down that road, well, I'm not sure what your point is. Number two, it's not that. They're splitting their fan base. They're dividing their fan base. That's the problem. That's what they didn't want. The NFL doesn't do this anymore because look what happened to them. They don't do
the NFL's made the right choice. I don't want to say the right choice, but the NFL's gone into this, and they've never even entered into this arena. They've known from the beginning, let's keep politics, let's keep all of this out of the game, and let's just do football. The problem is when you take a step into it and try and do it and then turn it back, now you got to deal with the blowback that they're seeing on social today. But again, that's going to be temporary, and let's see what happens this year. I think you're going to see the nights. I think everybody's going to be happy. I think the charities are going to get their contributions, and the teams will find ways to still have those theme nights even if the players aren't wearing jerseys.
It's Football Friday. We'll get back to that and more when we return. We are live from the Ace Casino Airport. CFL fan reception right here tonight, 6 p.m. And then the Sky Lounge next door at the Hotel Clique Calgary Airport. And we're on the Game Plus television network. We're Atlanta's NHL show on WQEE, podcast and YouTube Live.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Champion. Champion. You're gonna be champion. The golden sun for everyone. You're gonna be champion. You're gonna be number one. The golden sun for everyone. You're gonna be champion. Gotta shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hello, we're live from Ace Airport Casino. By the way, sports fans, check out the hamburger that was voted one of Canada's best. Only a Tonic Kitchen and Bar at Hotel Clique Calgary Airport. What's their secret? Come on down and find out for yourself. It's a Clique thing at Hotel Clique Calgary Airport. I apologize, Darren. I need your... I'm here in Cowtown. Moose is in Toronto. Tell me, Darren, somebody wrote in and said, what's with the echo? Is that from my speaker here, or is it coming through you, or what? Do you notice anything wrong? I'll try and fix it. If
I don't notice it, but if there's an echo that the viewer's hearing, that'd be coming through your speaker.
Okay, because I got that turned down a little bit. Regarding the last comment there, or comments from the audience regarding the NHL dispensing from the themed warm-ups and the jerseys, Stephen from North Dakota writes in, he says, let's take politics to the Yellowstone train station. Football Friday, Yahoo. And that's really all that I think this is. That's like they did, yeah. The NFL did try it, but with the kneeling, right, and all the rest, and they saw the ratings go down and all the bad publicity, so they don't do it anymore. It took the NHL just a little longer to figure, let's just play hockey. That's all that I'm saying. So we're going to move on. We'll come back to the football. The point four, the Toronto Blue Jays open a 3-game home series against the Oakland A's tonight in Toronto. The Jays are a half-game back of a wild card spot at 41-35. The A's, meanwhile, last place in the American League. Chris Bassett on the mound for Toronto against Oakland's James Kaprielian. Point five is CFL again. Week 3 action continues tonight as the Montreal Alouettes visit the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Hamilton looking for its first win this season. Going to do so without starting quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell. Backup Matt Schiltz Creek will take over quarterback duties. Montreal won its first game of the season before a bye in week 2. How excited are you to go to the game? Tell our audience, if they don't know yet, you got a big night tonight at the Coffee Cup, Tim Hortons Field.
Yeah, it'll be my first time. I've never experienced a game in Hamilton, so this will be brand new. I'm looking forward to it. You know, going to join the folks from Bet Regal in Hamilton, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We know that fan base is really passionate, and this is it's going to be a lot of fun. A Friday night in Hamilton, so I'm really looking forward to the game tonight.
And we'll look at the other games this weekend in a moment, but we have plenty of time here in this segment to talk about all the games. So last night, I'm not done yet with BC wiping the floor with Winnipeg. Is this a case of Winnipeg getting too cocky? Because quite frankly, I think it might be. You saw the game notes I read the other day. Bombers had won 27 of their last 29 home games. No West Division team had won there since 2018, the Banjo Bowl. All these stats. Zach Collaros had never lost against BC as a Winnipeg starter. Jack in Vulcan, Alberta writes in and says, Zach is a very average quarterback when the D has him on his back. Most quarterbacks in pro football can be stars if they have all day to throw the ball. Ooh. The Bomber O-line the last 2 weeks has graded out as the best offensive line in the Canadian Football League, which reminds me we need to talk about Randy Ambrosie and the stats. Don't let me forget that. But is this on BC's D and their front? Because those guys were beasts last night. And Dunnigan was talking about how great BC's defensive coordinator Ryan Phillips was in the game in his calls, which he was. But it doesn't matter what you call if you don't have the talent. Was BC that good? Or was Winnipeg that bad? What do you think?
BC was that good. And I was going to say, when you were reading the box score and the update from the Newswire, last segment, I was going to say, how did you get the stats? Nobody else has the stats, but you got them. And, BC played that well. They schemed well. They played great. The defensive line was getting pressure on Zach Collaros. And BC's offensive line kept Vernon Adams pretty clean. And when you can win the battle in the trenches on both sides of the football, you got a pretty good chance to win a football game, and BC was able to do that really, really well last night.
I like this. Casey from Winnipeg writes in and says, oh, my God, folks, it's one game. Are the BC Lions the top team in week 3? Sure. But teams come off the mat. I'll caution everybody that it is June, but I also think let them have their fun. BC's earned everything they're getting right now under their management and their ownership, and their quarterback's a great guy. I'm very happy for BC. And Winnipeg, it looks good on them, too, because as Jeff Kabilis in Winnipeg says, Bombers got fat and sassy. And it wasn't from the $35 taco in a bag being sold at IG Field. Was it $35? I'd pay $35 for a good taco in a bag. I would. First one I ever had, Craven, Saskatchewan. You never forget your friend. Now, before the game, Randy Ambrosie, the commissioner of the Canadian Football League, held a media event, which, as I was telling some folks this morning, Randy doesn't really want to do that. I don't think he likes doing the media stuff. And I'm starting to think he shouldn't, because he habitually says the wrong thing. So for anybody that's really following the Canadian Football League, you'll notice that the stats have been nothing but an absolute disgrace. It's a professional football league. The league doesn't even have an app to begin with, but you can't follow live stats. And I really noticed it the other night at our Stamps watch party when they were at Ottawa. I'm trying to get the stats on Arbuck and the stats on Mayer during the game. You can't get them at TSN. You can't get it at the Score. And you can't get it at the CFL app because they don't have one. So Ambrosi comes out last night and says, well, we're going through a complete technological reset. So this will be up and running by the first week of July. Be patient. We're working with Genius. This is not a mistake. That's where he lost me. Did you see a contestant dislocated her shoulder celebrating on The Price is Right the other day? Squirrel moment. He was doing fine until he said, it's not a mistake. And I'm starting to wonder about Randy Ambrosi. Is he speaking on behalf of himself? Is he speaking on behalf of the league? I don't really know. But it's like you could get him down on the ground. Randy, the sky is purple. The sky is purple. Randy, it's blue. No, the sky is purple. No, it's Randy.
You're waterboarding him. He's got the towel on his face.
It's not a problem. Can you just admit you guys have screwed this up monumentally? Because you have. And I don't get it because you've tried to explain this to me and I've never got it. How come when I say something, I get crucified? But I see all the other media around the CFL just ripping the CFL from neck to navel. They get away with it. Broadcasters, staff, I don't get it. Just admit you guys have screwed up and be better. Why can't they do that?
I don't know. You know, the thing, too, is like, if this isn't a mistake, then you sat around the boardroom and saying, guys, I got something here. The stats aren't going to work here for the first few weeks of the season, but that's part of the plan, okay? We're planning to go into a new season with no stats.
That would help. That would help.
You know? That's our plan.
Come on in here, man. Slide around here.
You know? It'd be a lot better if you said...
Yeah, continue.
It'd be a lot better if you said, look,
got a rider fan
we're going through a new system and the stats aren't going to work for a little bit. Who do we got?
We got a rider and showed up, Brooke Andrusik, right?
Yeah, you bet.
How's it
Good
going?
memory right here, Darren. Okay,
wow.
Okay, we'll chat with you. Good seeing you, man. Yeah, we'll talk in the break. I remembered his name. Continue.
Good for you. You know, it's just...
Fans,
it's just wild, you know, to say, look, we've gone through a new program. There's been unexpected hiccups. This is frustrating for everybody. Like, I can write the PR speech right now. It's frustrating for everybody. We all wish it would be up and running, but look, we're going to go through some short-term pain now to switch over from a system that was outdated and wasn't populating the apps to something that's going to be way better for the fans. So please be patient with us as we get this ironed out, and it's going to be better for the league. Like, that's all you got. Like, I can... You need me to write the speech? I can write the speech.
Well, Don, our Navy friend Don, says Randy needs to cry uncle and admit to making mistakes. He ain't ever going to do it. And the point is, when you do admit to your mistakes and vow to be better, you just try it and see what it does. Because I've admitted to every JD mistake in the world. I've screwed up everything I've ever touched. And people respect that. But if you refuse to do it, they don't respect that. John Kirby in Edmonton writes that he says, Rod, Terry Vaughn is taking his rightful place on the Wall of Honor August 27th at the Elks game. I'm going to try to be there. We've had TV on this show. He's a great guy, hell of a football player. He had the CFL record for the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. He also had a restaurant in downtown Edmonton that the whole Rider team got the worst food poisoning ever from. I'm going to tell you, it was the wings. Great restaurant. It was called, I don't know who came up with the name, but it was called Terry Vaughn's. And it was right across from the Westin in downtown Edmonton. And we went there all the time. It was a great spot. We all got food poisoning. I particularly remember Jackie Mitchell almost died. I don't know if you remember that particular time, but I don't think that'll come up the night they put him on the Wall of Honor in Edmonton. Janet, the Four Seasons, says, I was surprised Caleros got up after being sacked 7 times. From BW in Edmonton says that's such a minor league thinking coming from the CFL commissioner. From Mark in Melford, did Ambrosi not realize the CFL season started in June? Fire him. Daryl in Edmonton says TV had the best bar in Edmonton when he played here. It was just a bad batch of wings. It wasn't Terry's problem. But I was somewhat sick, too. Half the team missed the game. Maybe Terry was working in cahoots with the Eskimos. I'm not sure. Moose, this has been fun. You have yourself a merry little Christmas. If I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture. And play safe.
That's pretty good. You have a great weekend, and you'll see some updates from the game tonight.
All right. Sounds good. Have fun. Say hey to all my friends from Bet Regal. He got 'em. Jermain Franklin joins us next. Frankie, a million things to get to with the TSN Sports Center anchor when we come back. We're live from Ace Airport Casino in Calgary, Hotel Clique Calgary Airport on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube, live, podcast, and streaming.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
We're live at Ace Casino Airport, Calgary. Tonight, 6 p.m. CFL fan reception. Then we'll be moving in next door to Hotel Clique in the Sky Lounge. Just a shout-out from Atlanta Radio WQEE. Rhino Radio checking in. He says, great start to Football Friday, RP show. Hello to all our Georgia listeners on the radio down there. I don't want to waste any time. We got to bring in Jermain Franklin now from TSN Toronto, formerly of Calgary. Frankie, we got so much to get to. And I'll be honest with you, it still feels weird being in this town without you. You get it. I know you love it. But can we just start on the NBA draft? What are your takeaways from the NBA draft last night?
You know what? Pretty much what was expected. Wembanyama, I mean, it's going to be incredible to see how he works in the NBA. 7'5", great handles. He's still stick thin, so it'll be interesting to see if he can stay healthy. But Wembanyama, yeah, I'm excited to see him for sure.
Listen, I'm a hockey and a football guy. You know that. How did the Spurs miss the playoffs 4 years in a row and fall the #1 overall? When did that happen? And how does Greg Popovich still have a job? What happened there?
I know. When you win 5 rings, though, you figure it out. I still can't believe that they actually got the #1 overall pick. It's almost not fair. But even when you look at that, this is just their 3rd #1 overall pick. But, man, David Robinson, their first one. Tim Duncan, their second one. And now this guy. I mean, they certainly know when to falter and when to make their first overall pick, because this is obviously the most, I should say hyped, because you just don't know, but the most hyped prospect since LeBron James. And if he turns out to be as good as everyone thinks he will be, look out to the rest of the league, because you can't play defense like you used to back in the 90s and early 2000s. That's for sure, Rod. So it'll be interesting to see how this guy pans out.
Well, I get hype, but I don't necessarily get the hype. Like, I'm a hype guy. They're saying is the best ever. Come on, man. Are they saying that just because it's hype, or do you actually think that he is? What do we know?
No, I think you know, as media, I guess we got to do our jobs and hype him as big as possible, possibly the best ever. I mean, you can't say that, and even when you do, there's going to be arguments no matter how good he is. But the fact remains, we haven't seen anybody like this. We haven't. I mean, you think about Kristaps Porzingis, he's 7 foot. I think it's 7'2" or 7'3", but he didn't quite have the handles, and he certainly couldn't stay healthy. Shaq was unbelievable, and he could carry the ball down the floor when he wanted to, but it was more of a show. He has no chance of being a guard, and he was the most dominant player that we've probably ever seen in our lifetime. Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, a little bit before our time in terms of their playing days. Wembanyama, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts. And let's face it, this is the best basketball league in the world. And the one thing about the NBA is it's all about offense right now. And it has been all about offense the last decade, you could say, thanks to Steph Curry. So he will have the freedom to dominate offensively, and obviously he has great credentials on the defensive end of the floor in terms of blocks, but we have not seen him against the best in the world. We have not seen him in the NBA. We want to see how other teams can defend him, how they can adjust to him, and then see what he can adjust to after that. But the fact remains, Rod, he is so young, and if he stays healthy, I mean, he will be probably one of the best players of his generation if he stays healthy. Best all time, that remains to be seen. You got to win chips before that happens.
I appreciate the analysis, and I know the NBA is your jam, pardon the pun, so I wanted to start there. But you spent so much time in Calgary. Can you please give me your perspective looking back into Calgary from Toronto about what's going on with the Flames? Because you lived here long enough to understand. The city's on fire. Kids can't sleep. Their parents are worse. Frankie, you get it. If anybody gets it, it's you. And do you have any words of advice for them? Or like, because I don't. I'm done. It ain't good.
Yeah. deep breaths. And to tell you the truth, this is probably the first real cycle for the Calgary Flames where finances does have to do with it. What I'm getting at here, Rod, is the Flames, and this is before my time, but we all remember the Flames were a dominant team. They won in '89. And then after '89, all of a sudden, the following years, you just see guys leaving, disappearing, basically. Neuendijk, McInnes, Gilmore, all of them have to be either traded or left because at least there was a reason. Finances just could not afford them anymore, right? Fast forward to now, they build a core from within with their draft. We're talking about Tkachuk and Gaudreau, and of course with great trades with Hanifin, and now these guys, it isn't the finances because of the hard cap. It's just their choice, and that's probably what hurts the most, and that's probably what hurts even more. I do not envy Craig Conroy and the position that he is in right now, but if anything, this tells us is Vegas has it right because they are ruthless in their in their pursuit to win. They finally did win, but the players that they got rid of, the coaches that they replaced, there is no true loyalty in this business, and I think Vegas is given the blueprint in saying, if we can trade you, if we can get somebody better, don't be surprised, we're going to get somebody better, instead of hooking their anchor to a certain amount of guys and then being shocked when they say they don't want to stay anymore.
Buddy, you said it. And I know, like, I've talked with the Flames people about Vegas specifically, and they're like, well, they rule by fear. They do. And they're raising the Stanley Cup right now.
Exactly.
Right? It's like they're not making any apologies for what they do. Clearly, the Golden Knights, right? I'm so with you. Like, every NHL team sitting there going, how are they doing it? We need to do it like they're doing it. And by the time they get onto what Vegas is doing, they'll probably end up doing something else. But the other thing about Calgary is I feel like saying to people, there's a football game this weekend. Why don't you go to that? Why don't you go to the mountains? Find a hobby. Because you just get the anxiety, man. I feel for them. I really do. I got to ask you this. You were in a downtown Toronto restaurant. You saw our show on Game Plus up on the television. You were nice enough to send us a photo. What establishment was that, Jermain? We want to send them a bouquet or something.
Oh, that was Kelly's Landing on Front Street. And it was I had a lovely lunch there, and I said, this is outstanding. So I had to let you guys know that parts of downtown Toronto care as well, and they had you right there front and center on their biggest screen. So I had to let you guys know, and it was a fantastic lunch. And it was Kelly's Landing on Front Street, just on the west side of Union Station. Yeah.
Gotcha. Not too far from the Hockey Hall of Fame?
Not too far from the Hockey Hall of Fame, just a couple of blocks. Yeah, an easy walk, that's for sure. You can make a whole afternoon out of it.
Yeah, people think I'm just this hillbilly farmer, which I am, but I get downtown Toronto too. Jermain, thanks for thinking of us. Keep rocking it, man, in the free world, and have a great summer.
Yeah, appreciate the time, Rod. And yeah, Flames fans, hang in there because, faith is everything. And even though it won't be the same team, I think Craig Conroy, he'll have something ready to go in the next, if not next year, in the next couple of years for sure.
Give him a chance. All right. Thank you, Jermain. TSN's Jermain Franklin from the Big Smoke. Audience takeover next. Sheldon Napastuk live here at Ace Casino Airport in Hour 2. We're also at Hotel Clique Calgary Airport on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
And we are live at Ace Airport Casino. The party has started, everybody. Aren't you envious? Aren't you envious? Everybody's showing up, including Sheldon Nasty Napastuk, who will be joining us in hour 2 here at Ace Casino Airport to kick off this wonderful football weekend here in the foothills. Other places, the Toronto Blue Jays kick off a 3-game series with the Oakland A's tonight at Rogers Center. The Jays took 2 of 3 at Miami earlier this week for their first series win since the Houston series back June 8th. The red-hot Cincinnati Reds look for their 12th win in a row when they start a 3-game series against visiting Atlanta. The Reds' win streak has moved them into top spot in the NL Central. You've probably seen this is the longest win streak by any team that had 100 losses the year before since like the 1890 somethings. Been over 100 years since somebody's done what the Reds are doing. The second round of the KPMG Women's PGA Championship is underway in Springfield, New Jersey. Canada's Brooke Henderson entered the round a shot back of early leader Leanne Pace. Brooke won the LPGA Tour Major back in 2016 and was a runner-up a year later. This sports update is brought to you by The Steadies. Their new single Champion is out today. Visit thesteadies.ca for more info and stream The Steadies today on Apple Music and Spotify. We're also brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In theaters July 21st, Barbie. Barbie lives in Barbie Land, and then a story happens. Starring Ryan Gosling, Kate McKinnon, Will Ferrell, and Margot Robbie. Earlier this week, we took in the movie Fast 10 at Landmark Cinemas. Country Hills, to be exact. Giving it a 1 thumb up. 1 thumb up. I said, okay, thank you. I got one guy at least that agrees with me. It's audience takeover here on the Progressive Insurance text line, 902-518-3033. Jeff, watching in Redmond, Oregon on Game Plus Television, says, I 100% agree with you, Rod, on the NHL's decision about the pregame jerseys. Thank you, Jeff. I said that the NHL has realized it was a bad decision to do themed jerseys. And it's funny because the only themed jersey anybody had a problem with was the Pride jerseys, because they've done the Every Child Matters Indigenous jerseys. Nobody bitched about that. It was all about the Pride thing, and they just said, we're done with all themed jerseys. And Gary Bettman putting it on himself and saying, I put this motion forth, and the governors approved it. It was a distraction. We're done. Basically, they admitted a mistake without admitting it. Thank you, Jeff. And it's in my commentary today. More of my thoughts if you want to go read it at rodpeterson.com. Some jackwagon wrote in and said, Rod, you're the only media person, the only one in North America that's agreeing with the NHL. And Dougal Cameron Dougal is his name here in Calgary, regarding Randy Ambrosie admitting, not admitting. He says this stats fiasco this isn't a mistake. Frankly, you know me. Had I been sitting in that news conference in Winnipeg at IG Field, I would have said, then what is it, Randy? Then what is it? It's a misunderstanding. Dougal says if Ambrosie had a uniform on, 9 clubs would have asked him to turn in his uniform and playbook by now. Just effing do it. That's from Dougal. Metal Shingle guy agrees with me too. Thank you. I said the Bombers getting their ass handed to them last night. Last minute of play in hour 1. The Bombers getting their ass handed to them last night by BC was karma for running down Regina Pizza last weekend. And Metal Shingle guy writes in and says, looks good on him. Like a big pizza pie. The football gods were roaring loud on VA. Jim in Belgoni, Sask, glad you asked. He writes it and says 1,000+ shows, and Rod keeps saying he needs to keep it on track, but off track is why we're here. Enjoying it all. Take care. From Stephen in North Dakota. Greetings and no hallucinations from sunny 59-degree Calgary, Alberta. Kevin took a medium bid on BC and won large. Were the Bombers bombed from Pizzagate? Looks good on him. Nasty Napastuk in hour 2 coming up after this brief pause on Game Plus and WQEE Radio.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Hey, Rod Squad. Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Selection, service, price, parts, and knowledge. That's the Woody's RV World difference. With 7 locations in Western Canada, there's always one nearby. Visit us today or at woodysrv.com. If adventure awaits, Woody's RV World is with you all the way.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
This is why they can count on me.
Inbound receiving hospital.
Prizes and a cause I can't say no to.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win more than $3.6 million in prizes, including cash, homes, vehicles, and vacations. Buy your tickets today at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Ad marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It's time to play CFL Deal or No Deal for our official betting partner, Bet Regal. Montreal at Hamilton, Friday night. The Ticats are favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
Deal. No bow, no problem. Hamilton.
Toronto at Edmonton on Sunday. The Argos favored by 6.5 at the lowly Elks. Deal or no deal?
You got a deal there for me.
It's hour two. We're taking you into a wonderful football weekend on a Football Friday here on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio. Podcast. We're also streaming live on YouTube. It is the RP Show from Ace Casino Airport, Calgary, and Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport. We're going to jump right into our next guest here on hour two. Sheldon Napastuk joining us here to talk some CFL ball. We're going to get into what happened across the CFL last night, what's going to happen this weekend, but it's always good to see Nasty, and I got this dang light right in front of my face, Nasty. So I'm trying to look around you. I didn't even notice till I turned to look at you. Sheldon Napastuk, longtime friend of mine. Do you realize you are all over the internet, man? And it's all good. You got NFL stats, CFL stats, college stats, Iowa State, 1991 to 2002 with Saskatchewan, and then 2003 to 2006 with Calgary, 8 CFL seasons. He's just an all-around great guy. He is the second best football player from North Battleford. Still, right?
By a long shot, yeah. No,
it's a long drop.
Yeah, that guy named Ruben Mays, the Bayou Bullet. He put I think he put North Battleford on the map, on the football map.
He really did, though.
He was an amazing player. I mean, absolutely. He was class of the league in the NFL. But he had the Rookie of the Year, his first year, Pro Bowl, his first 2 years. But in year 3, he tore his Achilles tendon. And back then, I mean, now you can come back. He did come back, and the following year, early in the season, he tore his other Achilles tendon. And that was that was just about it for him. Yeah.
You know, I jumped right down that. I didn't even think that I would, but I've tried, obviously 20 seasons here, Voice of the Rough Riders. I tried to get a hold of Ruben Mays. I feel like he's not the easiest guy to get a hold of. But did you have a story? Being two pro guys from North Battleford, have you met him?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Like, what's his deal?
Well, first off, like, he was an absolute idol, like, growing up, right? You knew his story. But it was when I was being recruited to Washington State. They flew me out there, and you know, they set you up in this nice hotel room. And in the hotel room, I don't know whether it was on purpose or not, there's Ruben Mays pictures and frames and in the hallway. So they really honored their star players there in the town of Pullman. And then I went to a basketball game to watch the Cougars play, and yeah, Ruben was my host. I didn't even know that. So that's where I met him. I was introduced him. Very gracious guy. He is private. Like he never.
That's what I thought.
He never went after the limelight. He's just one of those guys, a practical North Battleford guy, right? Just go out there, be the best, get things done, and go home.
See, here's the thing: why Nasty and I get along. You think it's a coincidence that you just showed up and Ruben Mays was hosting you all weekend, and you still went to Iowa State.
Yeah.
What did they do? What could they have possibly done?
Well,
the Cougars did.
You know what they did is their head coach and defensive coordinator flew up from Ames in a Learjet, landed in the little North Battleford airport, had dinner with my family, played with my dog.
They really put out the yeah.
Yeah, and it was it was basically a decision between the Big 8 at that time, quickly the Big 12 and the Pac-10. And then just Iowa State was a better academic school, and just I don't know. I sometimes wonder what would have happened if I went to Washington State, but
I'm trying to line up the years. Did Ryan Leaf not go there?
Well, when I went to Washington State, that was when Drew Bledsoe was just drafted. In fact, he was cooking steaks for us at Coach Price's house for all the recruits when we came in.
Stop.
It was yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's great, Nasty. That's fantastic. So. I did not expect to go down that road. It's a fun road. And by the way, the Progressive Insurance text line is open, 902-518-3033. If you have any questions about anything, this guy can answer them. But is it still special to you? It has to be when the Saskatchewan Roughriders come to town to face the Calgary Stampeders, your two former teams. How do you feel about this matchup on Saturday? And is there a buzz in your world at least?
Well, you know, and I do. I still love both teams. I'm not like a fan of a team, right? I look at the coaches. In this case, they're brothers. I played for both of them. They're both good coaches. But, you know, in the CFL, I think it really comes down to your quarterbacks. And, you know, it's funny. At the start of the season, you know, kind of as we move into the Jake Maier era of the Calgary Stampeders, the first interview I heard from him was going off about, you know, it's not lost on me about the great legacies of quarterbacks on this team from, you know, Dickinson to Garcia and Flutie and, you know, I just want to do my part to fit in. I'm thinking, dude, I don't want to line up with a guy that's living in the big picture right at the start of the season. Like, I personally, I believe the time to stop and smell the roses is at the end of your career.
Yep.
And so it tells me that he wasn't dialed in. And as the season's gone on, like, he's looked okay, but he's got a real accuracy problem. The ball comes out okay, but it's not on target. It's not on point. He's not dialed in. Then we look at what Harris is doing in Saskatchewan, and, you know, for a new quarterback, new OC, new team, new receivers, they are so dialed in. You know, I know they're 1-1, and Winnipeg ran up the score on them late in the game, but, you know, I look at the Riders this weekend, and I'm like, how do you, until they show me that they're not a well-coached team or they start, you know, showing chinks in the armor, I think Saskatchewan is probably the number 3 team in the West right now.
I'll tell you something. The last couple times Nasty's shown up, he's like, I'm not really following the CFL anymore. I'm running my business, which you are, and you're a dad.
Yeah.
But did you brush up on your homework knowing you were coming in here?
No, I hired an editor for my photo business, so I have a lot more time on my hands now. So it was
really,
just, yeah.
Was that a good move for you?
Yeah, it was. It's still, you know, it's still long days and whatnot, but. You know, so I've gotten a little bit of assistance with the company, and now, and actually Chevy and I, we're starting to get the Chevy and Nasty show back going again. So, you know, kind of, I'm watching a little bit, and I'm always just fascinated by the stories of the guys. Like, I don't care stats and things like that, but I really like to see where guys are positioning themselves within the league, who's improving, and who's going to make a difference, right?
Yeah, folks, you're going to have to. I apologize. I'll get to your questions next segment because I'm always excited to see Nasty, and I got a million of my own. So your breakdown of the game was really good, and I feel like these Calgary guests come on like yourself. Like Jock Wilson, radio guy here, showed up, and he's like, every time I'm on here, you're on a new station, you're in new places, so I got to reintroduce you guys to everybody all the time.
You got it.
Which is fine. You get that. So Sheldon, not only did he play in all these places I said, but he did host a radio show that was very popular here on Fan 960, the all-sports radio station for a long time, called the Chevy and Nasty Show. And you're seeing why it was so popular. You don't hold back, and your boy Chevy doesn't hold back.
No.
And you guys get along great. The one thing he told me is that you guys are having a tough time coordinating your schedules now because you're actually men now with lives.
Oh, kids.
Funny how that works.
Kids, coaching, sports events, like I said, work and business. And it's you know, and that's really kind of what the show is all about, right? We kind of engage ourselves. We're kind of a sports-based show, but we're really talking about men's lives. What we say is once you hit the age of invincibility and you know that no longer exists, and you know.
When did it hit for you?
Well, you know, it was you know, getting cut from football and the kids, right? Life changes. It gets real in a hurry. So, you know, our show's really all about just telling great stories, bringing in some old guests, some new players and things like that. But instead of just focusing on sports, we talk like ChatGPT and AI. We talk about food, obviously, and, you know, just kind of all the things that are going on, you know, in guys' lives, age 40 to 60.
It's a very popular show. And it doesn't shock me because it's two great guys that have been on this show. So just to walk it back for a second, on the Jake Maier thing, there are a lot of football people not only here, but on the continent. And this is a great football town. You wouldn't just, it is. You know that.
Yeah.
They don't think this Stamps made the right move in going to Jake Maier. And I read the game from Bo Levi, but he's 2-0 against Sask. Craig Dickinson is 1-6 against his brother Dave.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Is that like a mental thing, or is Calgary just that much better? Or because I don't think they are.
No, I think for years, here's the thing. I like Jake Maier. I'm not a big fan of his performance. With Bo Levi was the exact opposite, right?
You like his performance?
He could really perform for a number of years. Dave was brilliant. Coach Craig was coming along. I said at the end of last season that he was probably going to be fired. Coaches get fired. But as it turned out, like the first 2 weeks, he looked so dialed in. He's got the staff where he wants it. They look like they've tweaked everything. They're disciplined. They've got their offensive line sorted out. You know what? It's again. I think both from a coaching standpoint and a culture standpoint, both teams look pretty even right now. Calgary has declined from their great days. So again, it's just going to come down to quarterbacks, and Jake Maier is just not accurate right now. There's something wrong in his game. He's not putting the ball on target, and that's great against Ottawa, but it's not going to carry against the Saskatchewan Roughrider defense.
So if Sask comes in and wins on Saturday, it should not be considered an upset, is basically what I'm getting from you.
That's my read on it. I mean, I think this is Saskatchewan's week. Calgary will improve as the season goes on if Jake does, but if he doesn't, they might be starting to look at other options, in my opinion.
Ooh, how about that? And I guess we could sprinkle in some viewer comments here as we go, 902-518-3033. But to the first real upset of this Canadian Football League season was last night, just based on betting odds, and Winnipeg just getting humiliated on home field, 30-6 last night by the BC Lions. I kept thinking, because it's Winnipeg, they're going to come back. They're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Nope. BC wasn't having it.
Yeah, I think there's two sides to that. Like, one, I don't think anybody expected BC's defense to be as dominant as they are. Like, they get after the passer, and maybe Winnipeg just had an off night, but that was a dominant performance in the front seven. Claros just had no time to do anything, and that was a big move. But now talking about quarterbacks again, I just told you a story about Jake Maier coming in talking about smelling the roses. Vernon Adams, the start of the season, I was watching his interview, and all he says is, you know what? This offseason, I addressed some chinks in my game. I needed to focus on getting the ball out faster, more velocity on target. So he spent his whole offseason working on getting his hips swiveled as he throws, his mechanics. And to me, that's a guy that's dialed in.
Yes.
So I watched week one. He was amazing. He looked just like that Nathan Rourke kid in terms of making quick reads, getting the ball out. My buddy says, hold on, he's going to fall apart, right? He always does. Week two, he looked pretty good. Week three, he's dominant.
That was the test last night of all tests.
He's making the reads, and the ball's on point every time.
Yeah,
So-
and did you see the 60-yard pass he threw? He's always had all the physical abilities.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that.
But he's so dialed in about when to throw, where, and getting on target. There's just something about him this year. It looks like he's finally just put his game together. Will it last for the entire season? We'll see. But right now, he's as strong as any quarterback in the league.
And I like it because he's a good guy.
And he's a good guy,
We
yeah.
had him in Sask. He's a good guy, Vernon Adams Jr. Craig Smith, our director of scouting, writes in. He says, Sheldon played with Troy Davis at Iowa State.
100%.
Hell of a back and a tough son of a gun. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, that's quite the take, Sheldon. I hope you're right. I'm not sure what he's regarding. The Riders winning. That's what it is. He's a Rider fan living out there. Craig also says... great durability of Sheldon's career, 7 solid years. I think it was 8, was it?
Yeah, it was 8. The 1 year was a half year, but yeah.
Okay, I shouldn't have said viewer questions because there's a million coming in here. And people like the stories too. He's with us for 2 segments, so hang on. I love how comfortable you are here right now today too. That's good. I like my guests to be comfortable. Biggest injury, I remember you pulling a hip flexor when Danny Barrett made the team run gassers.
Oh, God, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And you were like, why are linemen running, line running gassers at the end?
Right alongside of wide receivers and DBs. It's every team was like that. But that's
yes.
Dunnigan used to do that to us too, right? But
can you imagine what your career? And you had a great career. You didn't miss many games.
1 game.
That's it.
My last regular season CFL game was my 1 injury game.
That's gotta hurt.
No, we made the playoffs.
So you were fine with it. Then you came back and played in the playoffs.
Yeah.
How would your career have been different if you'd had the training that these guys have now? You just talk about what VA had, just little things. How would the little things have made a difference in your career?
You know what? It's a massive difference. So when I was with the Riders, I mean, we just bench squat, all the kind of typical powerlifting stuff. But I was a good player, solid. Like, I was really responsible player. Not always a big playmaker. But when I came to Saskatchewan, I hooked up with this guy, Cowboy Ron Jarrett. And he looked at me at the gym and he said, put those weights down and come with me. And we started climbing ropes and doing reverse Spider-Man crawls up the stairs and down the stairs, swinging sledgehammers, flipping tires. And that very same next year is when I had my Western Canadian All-Star, leading the team in sacks. And it's just, so training and getting your body to do what your mind wants it to do is one of the most important things you could do. Now everybody does it. Look at the NHL. Right. Everybody does it. But I got in right at the start when they started changing their mind about training, and yeah, it made a huge difference.
Well, that I don't know if this was said on the air or off, and at this point I don't care. Brendan Labatt, who will go to the Hall of Fame, talked about the strength coach the Riders have now, Clinton T. Spencer, and he said, if I'd have had this guy at the start, I'd have been in the NFL for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So it does make a huge difference.
Yeah, it's come a long way. I mean, Chevy and I, when we were roommates, we used to order pizzas to the room the night before a road game, right? And it's everything from your diet to your training. Everything's just advanced so much in our knowledge.
And you also played great, however. I don't think you would change a whole lot either, would you?
No.
No, you wouldn't. No, exactly. Okay, we'll be back. We're live from Ace Casino Airport, Calgary. We will get to your fan and viewer questions in a moment. We're live on the Game Plus television network. That's channel 924 on TELUS. All across Alberta and BC. We're on WQEE Radio in Atlanta, podcast and YouTube Live.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com. In the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
This is why they can count on me.
Inbound receiving hospital.
Prizes and a cause I can't say no to.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win more than $3.6 million in prizes, including cash, homes, vehicles, and vacations. Buy your tickets today at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time.
Looking to buy a pre-owned vehicle? With the largest selection of quality pre-owned vehicles in the Parkland, you're sure to find it at Key Auto Group. We'll treat you right every time, and it's all just a click away at keyautogroup.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, here we go live, everybody, from Ace Casino Airport. The party has started. They've given me this whole long sheet of things they'd like me to read, but I got my own commercial for today. 6 p.m. here tonight, right here, is our CFL fan reception in the sports bar. This is where they show all UFC events right here. Cover free, no cover charge. And then we're going to carry it on over to the Sky Lounge rooftop bar at the Hotel Clique Calgary Airport. Now, I knew better. Sheldon Nasty Napastuk is with us, 8 years in the Canadian Football League, Iowa State product. I'll extend the invitation, but I thought I was stretching it to get you down here now, let alone tonight. Yeah. So you're welcome to come, but I don't assume you're going to be able.
I've got a grade 6 graduation and a dinner tonight.
I knew it.
Appreciate it.
I knew it. But a guy that you would have knocked heads with a time or two. Mike Abu-Meshrik will be down here tonight helping me host this thing, and Kevin the Medium, and we're going to have big fun here tonight. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I love Nasty's take on the Riders Stamps game. He says the Riders have been getting better. The Stamps have been getting worse. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah,
pretty much.
The quarterbacks are everything, and year after year, it's just been in decline with the Stamps.
Right.
Defense is still fantastic.
The Calgary defense?
Yeah.
Brent Munson?
Yeah. They're doing a good job. I think the defensive line was a little shaky week 1, but they're coming along. They're going to be really solid on defense. But so is the Riders.
I will, Ted and Red Deer, I'm going to get to your question in a second, but there are other games I want to get your take on. I have not checked the Bet Regal line, our exclusive betting partner and the CFL's official betting partner on Montreal and Hamilton tonight. No bowl for the Ticats. Didn't seem to affect the line. Hamilton was favored at home by, I think, 2.5. I have a tough time on this because I love Cody Fajardo so much. I'm just pulling for him to go in there with Montreal and win. But what do you think about this one tonight in the Hammer?
I think Hamilton just got better.
Yeah?
Kid looked good at the, I know it's the end of the
Schultz?
game. Schultz.
I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
I really do.
We'll see. It's tough. It's way different going in late in the game versus, your first start. Montreal, I mean, it's hard. I don't know what Montreal is yet. I mean, who they beat in
week 1. Played one game. Ottawa. That's not their fault.
No. So I'm interested to see what Montreal becomes. The East needs a team to start improving, right? But
somebody want to look it up for me? It's the betting line tonight at Bet Regal because I can't do it right while we're on the air. Again, Ticats were favored at home, and they must obviously feel the same way you do. That Schultz, no drop-off.
And it's not that Bo Levi is not going to come along as the year goes, but it's been really a horrific start for him, right? So,
has it ever? So you are thinking Hamilton will win at home tonight?
I think they got a chance. I mean, I don't know what Montreal is yet, right? So
good point. Well, I'll be pulling for Montreal. Viva Montreal! Touche! Make some noise. Those games in Montreal were wild.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Very underrated atmosphere for football.
You get that whole college feel, and the people there are diehards, and it's fun getting cussed out in another language.
Producer Clark tells us Hamilton's favored by 2.5 at Bet Regal, our exclusive betting partner. Thank you, Clark. The other one is Toronto at Edmonton. You clearly have done your homework. You're following this closely. The Toronto Argonauts, the Grey Cup champions, are favored by 6.5 at Edmonton Sunday. Edmonton's winless. What do you think?
Well, actually, I haven't done that much homework on it, but I don't know. The same thing with Edmonton. I mean, what's their guy's name? Cornelius is just he hasn't shown any signs of putting that together over there, yet. So, that's a tough one. I mean, that's a big spread for home, but I mean, they didn't score a point last week. Right, so I think you got to go with Toronto. Chad Kelly's looking really good. He's coming along well. If he can keep it together, I mean, Toronto's got a strong team.
Chad Kelly is looking like he's all that.
For a kid.
Yeah. I kind of wonder, I don't know the kid. I've heard about the kid. Frankly, he's got a similar story as mine as a kid, and I just hope that it's not too much too soon. Do you know what I mean? Because he's got all the tools and all the gifts. I just hope that he can handle it well because he is very young. But I think Toronto, they haven't missed much. Like with pinball there, I don't know why you would ever bet against that guy.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Well, and I think they've built a pretty strong front office. They seem to have a good culture going there. And I don't know if it's just week one. Like I said, I wasn't following them a lot last year. Are they starting to get some attendance at these games? Because it was exciting in week one, right?
Did you watch that game?
Yeah,
the Lower Bowl
opener
was full, which is an improvement.
Yeah.
So I think they're getting there. I mean, I can't speak for the Toronto thing. Our co-host Darren is now living there, so we're going to put it on him to fill BMO Field because I don't know what it's going to take. I've never spent one day living there, and I don't understand those people.
It was good to see, though.
It's fantastic to see. By the way, our poll question today is brought to you by our friends at Key Auto Group. And Clark's going to throw it up here. Yeah, with the Key Auto Group, most vehicles receive a lifetime engine warranty, guaranteed. Go to keyautogroup.ca/thekeyadvantage for eligibility and maintenance requirements. The Key Auto Group, here to take care of you. The poll question is, who is the best team in the Canadian Football League right now? And Clark, what are they saying on YouTube? What's the vote there? Because last we saw it was BC. Based on last night's routing. Yeah. 59%. 59% on YouTube, 61% on Twitter saying the BC Lions, 27% say Winnipeg, 8% say Toronto. Sheldon Napastuk played in the league for 8 years. What is your, who do you think is the best team right now in the Canadian football?
Well, I mean, last night kind of threw it off a little bit, but I still, the CFL, you can always find these anomaly games. I'm a big fan of Vernon Adams and what they're doing, but do you think Winnipeg's actually that bad, or
no.
they just had a bad night? They didn't see it coming. They weren't ready.
Fat and sassy, as some would say.
Fat and sassy. Yeah, it's great to quote the great Scott Schultz.
Exactly. That's a humbling thing. That's a punch in the mouth.
Yeah. No,
and they
for
got
sure.
it last night.
For sure, they did. But, I mean, they're so well coached, and do you have any doubt that, they're aging a little bit. I guess it's been the big critique this year, but they've looked so good in the first 2 weeks. I think they brushed this one off and just move forward.
Would you not? They say that switch from a good team to an old team happens very fast.
Yeah, it hasn't been showing signs yet this year, I don't think. But yeah, it does happen fast, right? That's why they got rid of me when I was in my prime.
Sask?
No, with
Calgary.
Yeah.
I'm trying to match up the years here. I do have it was 06 was your last season?
06
it was Tom
was
Higgins.
Last season. Yeah. And then I got called into the office 4 days before training camp.
That's dastardly.
Yeah, my wife was pregnant. So it was like, you was looking at maybe going elsewhere, but no, that was when it was time to retire.
Well, let's spend a second, through COVID, I'd like to think people learned something, and I'm realizing a lot didn't. But football players, you guys are used to that mental terrorism of not knowing where you're going to be from one day to the next, right?
Yeah.
You lived it.
Yeah.
I mean, what we went through with COVID with your business was probably nothing compared to your football career being over, or am I completely wrong? Were you at least prepared decently for it?
Well, no. I mean, COVID that was a real mind, know. And for me, actually, though, for me that was the opportunity. That's when I changed everything up, right? Like for me, I was in industrial real estate at the time. Nothing was happening. Nobody was making any moves because, at the start of COVID, if you remember when that day that the streets just emptied out, nobody was out there. Everybody's like, we don't know what this is. Is this Ebola? Are we just going to start seeing neighbors dropping?
Yeah.
So there's some uncertainty. But that's when I just said, people are still living in homes, buying and selling. Why don't I switch to that real estate media company? Like give people a better package to view properties without going into homes. And that was, I thought it was a good idea. Over some drinks at a fire in the Kootenays at Lake Kootenai.
Sounds terrible. Did that?
So to be honest with you, not being a big people person and liking my privacy, that first year of COVID was awesome.
I loved it too.
Yeah.
When they lifted the restrictions at the end, I was like, no, I'm going to have to go for lunch with people.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we get along, Nasty. But would you say business-wise then that it was actually a benefit for you? Because I'm looking at that real estate market at the time.
It killed one career, but at the same time, it was probably for the best because, like being a CFL guy too. I only played 8 years. I like reinventing myself every now and then. I'm a curious guy. I like learning new skills. I wish I was that guy that could just stick to something, start working at 22 years old and retire at 45, right? But that's not me.
I don't know if you do want that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It would be boring for sure. Jack, writing in from Vulcan, Alberta, on the Progressive Insurance text line, 902-518-3033. He says, Sheldon Nasty Napastuk is one of the great character guys to have ever played the game on and off the field. Love you, Nasty.
Oh, I think I happen to know this Jack person that just wrote in, so thank you, Jack.
He's a mutual friend of both of ours. Okay, now it's picking up. Arlen Bruce has checked in. AB, we will get to your question in a second. Ted says, and Red Deer says, a guy named Nasty should be able to tell us who was his best nasty, greasy type player that he played with.
Oh, you know what? There was a few. Like the Comiskey brothers were, just big. I know they're from Ontario, but they play like big Saskatchewan
From Windsor.
that would just fight you.
Dan's the only one I remember.
Yeah, he had a brother. Oh, man.
Dan's was the memorable one.
You know, his brother was cut from the same cloth.
Somebody remind me, please, because I don't remember.
But my favorite was Raheem Abdullah. Remember Raheem?
Raheem the Butcher.
I hated him. He was an Edmonton Eskimo. He apparently he spit at Jeff Pelanger in one game, which he adamantly denied. I had nothing for him. When we signed him to Calgary, I just looked at my coach and I said, this is going to kill our chemistry. Walks into the locker room.
Best guy.
Best guy. Best friends. Played, I don't know, probably about 400 hours of Halo together that first season. And yeah.
Here's a great...
But nasty on the field, right? That guy could...
Dwight Anderson reminds me of that. And I apologize, everybody, because we're getting off track. Remember, obviously, DA.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
When he was playing for Montreal, he poked our beloved Weston Dressler in the eye. I'll never forget. It was 2011. Greg Marshall was our coach, and we were flying home from Montreal. We thought Weston was going to lose his eye.
Wow.
And we were like, we got to get a picture of this. And I said that. And Greg Marshall goes, why do we got to get a picture? I said, get it now when it's at its worst so we can send it to the league, and we'll get that little bugger suspended. So we end up signing DA a couple of years later. And I remember I'm like, okay, DA, are you going to apologize to Weston now that you're teammates? He's like, for what?
For what?
You didn't even remember it.
Yeah.
Almost lost an eye.
You know, but things happen, right? And DA was not. I wouldn't put him in that dirty player category. Would you? Or?
He was that day.
What? Yeah.
That day he was.
I don't remember the play, but you don't know a guy till you're in the locker room with him and spend some time.
And
right?
he ended up being the best guy. That's my point. He's one of those types of guys. Arlen Bruce III writes that he says, I'll be at the Edmonton Elks game Sunday at Edmonton versus the Toronto Argonauts. Who should I cheer for? Well, I would say Edmonton. They need it. How bad are they?
I mean, they're bad. And I can't comprehend why they're so bad. I mean, what is it, 18?
18 at home, yeah. 18 in a row.
That is an unbelievable statistic. It'd be hard to do that if you're trying in the CFL. So, and I don't know. I mean, they're a good, proud organization. Chris Jones, I think, is a very smart football guy. But, can you put it all on the quarterback? I don't think you possibly can. There's just something there that's broken, and they haven't been able to figure out what yet.
Well, I go back to your football Wikipedia here. You've been on bad teams. You've been on good teams. How do you go about switching no confidence to having confidence? Because that's what the football people are telling me Ottawa and Edmonton are absent of right now. It's confidence.
It's your head coach and your quarterback. Like for me, even because Calgary, when I first signed here, we were bad, right? The Federic days but secondly, they brought in Tom Higgins, and I know Tom Higgins isn't everybody's favorite coach from around the CFL, but that guy did an amazing job of just giving us a level playing field in the locker room. We understood what was expected of us. He brought in a good coaching staff, and we had Henry Burris. And, it was just turned around overnight. We went from winning like 3 games to, 12, 13, making it in the playoffs. And, yeah, it's your coach sets the culture. Management above him starts the culture. Edmonton just seems broken all the way through.
You know what? Now that you say that, and I love the conversation, I think Edmonton was so broken before Jones even got there.
They were.
Right, that it's taken extra long to turn it around.
Yeah.
And they don't have, a quarterback. Taylor Cornelius doesn't seem to have it. That's all. But Jones is also a defensive guy. You would think he would know quarterbacks, but he can't seem to find one to save his life.
Well, and he's sticking with him. And again, nothing against Cornelius, right? I even he looks good on the field. He seems like he's in control. But he's just not getting anywhere with it, right? And at some point, if we're getting into week 3, like who's behind him? I don't even know. But if you're not trying something different, I don't know what you're doing.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says Jones is an X's and O's guy, not a manager. I don't think you would call Chris Jones a people person. Fair? I don't think he is. So I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
Now, but he did build Sask up. He did. I don't. He took over a pretty bad Saskatchewan situation too when he took over. So, anyways, Sheldon, will you be going to the game?
No. I'm actually. I'm emceeing. You're gonna love this. Do I got a minute to tell you about what I'm doing tomorrow?
For you, yes.
There's this event called Nightfall being hosted at Winsport in Calgary, where it's a bunch of guys from their 20s to 50s and 60s that build custom titanium armor. They go out there.
I heard about this.
They go out there with swords, broadswords, long swords.
It's for real.
Pikes. It's for real. And so one of the companies that I work closely with, Royal LePage Mission, is a big sponsor of the event. So they asked me to come in and MC the event.
It's a medieval jousting.
It's medieval, but it's not a costume party. It's not like, maidens in dresses. This is a pure combat sport where the whole goal is to get the guy on the ground. And it's just through the armor, you see a lot of sword wax that you think should be illegal, and just a bunch of pummeling to the helmet. But these guys spend $6 to $10 on their armor. Yeah.
Sounds right down your alley.
Dude, it's going to be crazy.
Okay, good luck. I'm glad I asked. We'll be back with more from Ace Casino Airport after this brief pause on a Football Friday on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube, and your favorite podcast platform.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Selection, service, price, parts, and knowledge. That's the Woody's RV World difference. With 7 locations in Western Canada, there's always one nearby. Visit us today or at woodysrv.com. If adventure awaits, Woody's RV World is with you all the way.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. We're back, and we're live from Ace Airport Casino. The party has started, and before we jump back into more on this Football Friday thing, a sports update. The Toronto Raptors selected Kansas guard Grady Dick with the 13th overall pick, a product of Wichita, Kansas. Averaged 14.1 points and 5.1 rebounds per game in his lone season with the Jayhawks. Later in the draft, Montreal's Olivier Maxence Prosper went 24th overall, and Toronto's Leonard Miller went 33rd. The Blue Jays open a 3-game home series against the Oakland A's tonight in Toronto. Jays are a half game back of a wild card spot at 41-35. The A's, meanwhile, are the worst team in the American League. And Week 3 in the CFL continues as the Alouettes visit the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Hamilton looking for its first win this season, and will have to do so without starting quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell. Backup Matt Schultz will take over at quarterback. This sports update is brought to you by The Steadies. Their new single, Champion, is out today. Visit thesteadies.ca for more info and stream The Steadies today on Apple Music and Spotify. And for Landmark Cinemas, in theaters July 12th, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. In Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Tom Cruise plays Ethan Hunt, and his IMF team embark on their most dangerous mission yet. All right, this guy has not stopped strutting around here. You can bring him in, guys. Kevin the Medium, the local BC Lions fan. You're like a proud peacock.
Just a little. They, as you said, they deserve to have all the credit for
the
that.
BC Lions.
Yes, they kicked some butt last night, and from the Smurf Mafia, it was supposed to be a walk. They were supposed to destroy us. Well, it didn't happen.
People, you need to follow along with what we do here, and we're gaining. You know, the Rod Squad's getting bigger, and you're understanding. Kevin the Medium has a nickname for Winnipeg fans. Go ahead.
They're called the Smurf Mafia. I mean, do I need to say more? They're blue. They think they have a dynasty going. They won 2 Grey Cups in, 50 years?
I think
not a dynasty.
I think if we could, well, that's not accurate, but you know that.
Yes.
But if we could just honestly have fun as a society with the kibitzing back and forth and people not just falling into a blind rage and wanting to ruin other people's lives because they're fighting over their sports team, life could be a lot of fun.
If people take me seriously because I'm calling them the Smurf Mafia, they got bigger problems.
They shouldn't take me seriously either.
No, it's sports. It's supposed to be fun. If we want to get serious, we'll talk politics.
Yeah, and even now, then you'll see people really get upset. But you're right. It is just sports. But I was getting to a line of thinking here, believe it or not. Earlier this week, you and your son, who hosts the tremendous Hughes Sports Podcast, did a power ranking.
Oh, my goodness.
And we should, honestly, he had BC #1. And I just bit my tongue. I didn't say anything about it. I'm like, there's no way that you're #1, but you just believe that.
And we did.
Well, you know what? I didn't say anything. I'm like, well, that's nice.
You didn't, and it was funny because I was waiting for you to say something, and you didn't say good, you didn't say bad. You literally ignored the whole thing.
I didn't say that. I'm like, this is interesting.
You just kind of brushed it over, I'll say.
Well, but I don't really care about BC. I don't really care about Winnipeg. It was the fans of both fan bases that got really...
Goodness, we posted it on Facebook and Twitter, and people were crazy. It was probably the most commented on post we've made on HughesSports.ca. But that's what sports is supposed to be. It's supposed to be, I'm a BC Lions fan. They're Winnipeg fans. Let's go back and forth and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Was there some nasty comments? Yeah, they got deleted. But hey, that's the way it rolls.
I want to talk about Randy Ambrosie for a second here, and you and I were discussing this earlier. To a little bit. Yeah. The commissioner of the CFL spoke to the media in Winnipeg before the game Thursday, and I didn't watch it, but I saw the quotes come out of it, and it had to do with the fact that the stats are an absolute, utter abomination in the Canadian Football League. A pro league where football stats is as big as this all there is.
Well, can you imagine trying to do a fantasy team and not have your stats? Jake and I were live, not last Monday, the Monday before, and we were talking stats. The stats he had compared to the stats I had were totally different from the same website, cfl.ca. Two different set of stats. And we're like, how could they get it so wrong? Yes, it's a mistake. I know Ambrosi said it's not a mistake. Well, sorry, it is.
Well, and that's what's got people upset. So they have this new stat system. I'm not the biggest analytic or stat guy. I'd like to be able to do my job using the stats. Quite frankly, I would have murdered somebody by now if I was still working in the league. But Daryl in Edmonton, Daryl Paquette, because they kind of blamed this on Genius Stats in a way. And the commissioner said, we're going through an entire technological reset. This will be ready to go by July. Daryl says, he's from Sherwood Park, he says, CFL and Genius Sports couldn't test new stats tech in the offseason? Train stats techs? Ambrosi is killing this league. And I've had a fair amount to do with Randy Ambrosi. I don't mind him. I've been on record as saying that, but I'm starting to realize he shouldn't probably do much media.
No.
Because he tends to always say the wrong thing.
They need to have somebody out there that knows what media is about and how to, I'm going to use the word work the media.
Yeah.
Ambrosi's not doing that. He's making himself look really silly, making statements like that. As far as the stats being ready for early July, is that when the season starts now? Was this all preseason and the season starts in July? Like, can you imagine? Let's use the NFL. The NFL is going to go with a new company for their stats. And come week one, they don't got it together. What do you think the NFL's doing?
Well, they get so upset if you criticize them. But it's like, you're not helping yourself, guys.
You aren't.
So anyways, we'll try to turn it around to a more positive discussion when we return for the final overtime of the week. There's a vibe.
There's a vibe. It's going to be an exciting night here.
You're feeling it?
There's going to be an exciting night here. I've got people messaging me saying, what's happening tonight? What time does it start? So should be a good night.
We will be back in a moment. We are live from Ace Airport Casino Hotel Cleat, Calgary Airport on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio Podcast, and YouTube Live.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Looking to buy a pre-owned vehicle? With the largest selection of quality pre-owned vehicles in the Parkland, you're sure to find it at Key Auto Group. We'll treat you right every time, and it's all just a click away at keyautogroup.ca.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It's the final overtime of the week coming at you live from Ace Airport Casino. And by the way, everybody, are you too busy with summer plans to cook but want to make sure you're eating well? With Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, skip the trip to the grocery store and skip the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. Factor meals, fresh, never frozen meals, are ready in just 2 minutes. So all you have to do is heat and enjoy and then get back outside and soak up the warm weather. So head to factormeals.com/Pedersen50. Note the weird spelling of my last name. Get it right. Factormeals.com/Pedersen50 and use code Pedersen50 to get 50% off your very first order. That's code Pedersen50 at factormeals.com. Okay, it is overtime. It's for the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Hockey League, soon to be the NFL. Kevin the Medium is with us, and Carl Anderton, got to give him a shout out. He is watching from Del Mar, Maryland. He says, I'm working from home on a football Friday. Got to watch my guy, Rod Pedersen. Wonder if the pundits will show some love after my Alouettes get this win. Also, the new red jerseys are legit. Hashtag Al's in. Hashtag RP Show. Everybody's going goo goo gaga about these Alouettes jerseys. I'm getting there. I got enough on my plate. I've seen a glimpse of them and they seem decent. Are they not, Carl? 70s Alouettes vintage? Have you seen?
I did.
That's
I
exactly
just saw
what
it
they
this morning, and I liked them, and they are. They're very kind of a retro throwback. I liked them.
Big fan of the retro here. I really am, but I'll pay more attention when they take to the field tonight. He's obviously a big Alouette guy, and I'm quite, I like my Alouettes because of Cody Fajardo. If he moved on to another team, and probably eventually will, I won't like Montreal anymore, but I cheer for the players. You cheer for the teams.
I do. I mean,
that's the
obviously
difference.
A huge Lions fan. I've been so since birth. I think I was born to a Lions fan. So, yeah, it doesn't matter who's playing. I'm still going to be a Lions fan.
I'm loving where I'm at in life, where I can be looked at as the CFL guy and cheer for every team or be critical of every team, and nobody really minds. For instance, I said the karma for the Smurf Mafia was Winnipeg calling out Regina Pizza last weekend.
That really got under your skin.
Yeah, and I said at the opener, before you ran off here when I started talking about Trump, I said you can say whatever you want about the Rough Riders, and that's not going to bother me, but you take a swing at Regina, you take a swing at Regina Pizza, we're going to have a problem. And to be honest, I think the Blue Bombers were lovable for a long time, and I was pulling for them, but now they've started kicking sand in people's faces. They've become the bully. And nobody was cockier than me with Sask. You didn't know me back. Believe me, who came up with Canada's team? Who came up with all this? I was on Calgary radio as the rider guy, calling Bo Levi a puke and getting everybody out. Because I get it. And I get that people hated me. Some of them aren't over it here in Calgary. So I get where Winnipeg is, and I could tell you you're not making any friends by doing this. But that's their deal.
They were the lovable losers, similar to Saskatchewan way back when. And then they started winning, and good on them for winning. Every team deserves to have that time in the spotlight. But I tell you, the fans are just...
But this was from the team. I have less of a problem with Bomber fans, I swear. It's the team.
Was it the team that put that out?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was a fan
thing.
Oh, that's nasty.
This is why I'm saying it's a karma thing.
It's a karma thing.
And you can agree or disagree with me. I don't care.
Karma's real.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, was Kevin born before the Lions? No, the Lions were born in 1954. And I'm not going to say when you were born.
10 years later.
Yeah, so there you go.
Jeff the Stamps fan.
Jeff the Stamps fan's just rubbing it, just trying to get a fight going with everybody. He likes to fight. Whatevs. But I guess I look back at my time in the CFL. I'm a historian. You're not going to find a better ambassador than the pure league of the Canadian Football League than me. I remember 1954, unless I'm wrong. But I think it was 1954.
1954?
Yeah.
You are correct.
And Norm Fieldgate, I believe, was on the original team of those BC Lions back
you're correct.
Yeah, and I met Norm in the lobby of the Hotel Saskatchewan 2003 Grey Cup week.
Wow.
I mean, I love my CFL, and I can kind of go back to the stats thing for a second and say, you guys need to love yourself a little more. And if you're going to poop in your own backyard or front yard, you got to be willing to clean it up or step in it. You got to take the criticism, man.
As we said when we were off the air, we wouldn't make any comments if we didn't care. Both you and I, that's how we connected originally, are CFL fans first. And if we weren't fans, we'd be like, oh, well, so there's no stats. Who cares? But we're fans, so we care.
100% bang on. But again, they don't look at it that way.
Unfortunately.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, Rod, you should talk. Look at the billboards the Riders used to put out. Did I not say that? I've been saying that all week. I've been saying that. I was part of it. I just said I was the guy that came up with the term Canada's team that ticked everybody else off. Would I do it again? Probably. But we went through what the Bombers went through. And actually what the Bombers went through was worse.
Yes.
The 30-year drought. And so it was 30 years of pent-up, getting sand kicked in your face, and now they're the bully. And my point is, I've lived it, I've been there, and I'm still living down. What do you think it's like coming into this town as the Rider guy?
Oh, you weren't very well liked, and you probably still have people like Jeff who just, they won't get over it. I used to love those billboards. I thought they were the funniest thing ever.
Some get it, some don't. Tell them about the general manager of the radio station that you called. We won't say which one.
We won't say which one, but he literally told me, I don't want anything to do with that Saskatchewan Rider Homer.
Yeah, and he's a Bomber fan.
He bleeds blue.
Living out here. And I said to Kevin, if the guy literally can't get over that, then that's his problem. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says when you have all those years of pent-up aggression of being poked and prodded, that energy has to go somewhere. Some people do good with it. The Bombers have not. Look, they were great, really, until this year. Like, I get that they were making fun of the Riders. They had some very funny Instagram videos over the last couple of years, but just lately it's gotten kind of mean-spirited.
Well, only because they went after your pizza. And now I'm learning that you just don't go after Rod's Pizza. Don't touch the pizza.
Or my town.
Or
Again,
your hometown.
Say whatever you want about the Riders, the Pats, I don't care. Don't go after my town. We're going to have a problem.
I keep looking over your shoulder and seeing this sports bar, and I'm looking forward.
You can't wait to get in there.
Full tonight.
Okay. Well, again, the old me wouldn't have. I was telling this to Moose the other day. The old me wouldn't have seen 7 o'clock. Hi, Brenda. She's the greatest gal here. From BW in Edmonton says Nickelback is in Calgary this weekend, so the Stampeders are going down. Don't be that guy. I love Nickelback. The show's going to be great. I can't wait to get the Pedersen Express ready to roll. Got my cowboy hat ready to go.
I just shake my head. What? You sent me a picture of you driving the Pedersen Express with your cowboy hat, and yeah, I laughed.
We're going to have big fun. Big thank you to Sheldon, Nasty, Napastuk, yourself, Kevin the Medium, Jermain, Franklin, the entire RPay show crew. You're very attractive. Enjoy the football, everybody. We'll see you Monday at noon here on Game Plus and WQEE Radio. Who has more fun than us?